Well, great morning, everyone. Someone had asked on my other channel, Guru Swami Ji, for those on my YouTube channel, Lady G Tarot, you may not know I've been a guru since 1999. And I did have another channel. Well, it's still in place, but people have asked there, why don't I post there? Now, why am I not posting? And the reason that I don't post there is for one reason. You know, people come and they want to do the spiritual path, and then they want to become enlightened, quote unquote enlightened. But you rapidly find out that no, they don't want to be enlightened, because their idea of enlightenment is that you become a superhuman. You become elevated above everybody else. Okay? You become something special. You become someone that can control this and control that. So they're looking to become even more egotistical. Wanting to have control over the aspects of the transient. And that's the furthest thing from enlightenment. And enlightenment, it's like the satsang that I put up in the post area. And yes, you can see I was very heavy at that time. It was after coming back from India. I became very heavy because it's all vegetarian and sweets, vegetarian, carbs, and that's it. You know, no protein, no meat allowed where I was at. So I became very heavy and became ill. I developed diabetes. And you can see there I was very heavy. But anyway, that's another thing entirely. But you can hear from that satsang, you become the zero. Not that you become the paramount one. This great expression of the divine in human form. When you see that, you see gurus that you know they stopped early. They're not enlightened. They've had some transitory experience, came back, the mind reroutes, they wrap it around ego, and they become even more egotistical, saying how elevated they are. Because enlightenment is really the great leveling field. You become the zero. There is no you. Okay? The you implodes. All of your drama, your baggage is over. It's gone because I've never been born, I've never died. Okay? There's a huge shift of consciousness. And then one is within the flow of the universe. Okay? One is in that steady point. Now, when realization takes place, it's very difficult at first to speak, because all speech is dualistic in nature. And you have gone from that dualism into non-duality. There is no me. Okay? So to use the words me, my, I, it takes a number of years to be able to use that speech again. And that's true. It takes a good, I would say it was about 10 years to ground again. And there is just an overwhelming bliss in one sense, but in the other sense, it's like hitting a brick wall. Because for lifetimes, you have been geared towards wanting to get to realization. When it finally takes place, it's, well, then now what? Okay. Those challenges, those things are gone. You're quite happy at that point to sit on a bench and every flutter of a leaf you can feel in your heart center. Okay? You emerged. You are that primary point of energy that's within all things. Okay? Prior to all. Runs like a thread through all. So the consciousness has shifted from the mundane of concern and worry and analyzing this separate being into finding out that was all an illusion. Okay? So to try to speak of this with people that are in that consciousness of being a physicality and a body and a limitational form is difficult. And again, when you are trying to break through that for people, and you find out that they really don't want enlightenment, at that point, I decided, why to give these elevated satsangs, because when they find out that there is no more persona, you don't become an aggrandized I, an elevated me above all the rest, and there's that fear. Because one goes through that death before death. Now it's different than you hear the near-death experiences that people have, where they are still in more of a transitory state of more rarefied, but still a separation. Okay? With realization, one goes beyond that, into that light beyond lights, into that still point, into that awareness of that divine is, that energetic point, the 0 point. Now they say that it is, how do I want to say it? They want to think it's devoid, but it's not devoid. I call it the pregnant void, because it's pregnant with everything that will ever come into existence. Okay? It has no solid substance. Okay? But it's pregnant with everything that will ever come into existence. It's like intellect, pure intellect, but without the knowledge, without the, all the different elements. It's pure primary energy before it's broken down into, like when you have a prism that comes into different color persuasions. Okay? It's all of that. So how to explain that to minds that are only seeing the transitory? Okay. Now I see some that say, oh, they're an enlightened being, and all they keep talking about is phenomena. All this phenomena they're experiencing. Well, if you're still experiencing all of these phenomena, then you're in the transitory. Okay? And when one actually gets to realization, what happens? You go into Turiyatita, the still mind. Okay? There is no more mental spin going on. I don't hear thoughts. Okay? People tell me, oh my God, how can you go through that and that energy, and you need to cleanse yourself, you need to put this light, you need to do this, you need to... No, I don't. Okay? Because all of that is illusion. Okay? Transitory. And if you understand what's in the center of all of it, all of that is blown out of the water. So in realization, though, yes, the eyes are seeing this, the transitory, but it's no longer Maya, the illusion, because one is already within that substance, within that primary. Within that complete. Okay? So that's why I don't really post. I'm not out doing satsangs. I'm not wearing the garb of the sannyas any longer. Because, again, what I found was people don't want enlightenment, or if they come in and they want to be enlightened, oh, I'm going to do it in a year. Yeah, you're going to be the only one in existence that's going to do it in a year. Become enlightened. It takes lifetimes. So that's why I don't speak about it a lot, because again, try to explain. There are no words that can explain it, because it's like the writing that I've done. Why the silence? Why not mine? Because any speech comes from dualistic, the transitory. And And the absolute is so beyond the transitory. There are no words in the transitory that can convey what it actually is. That can convey that consciousness and that shift of consciousness that takes place. Okay? There are no words. That's why that saying came out, those that speak do not know, and those that know do not speak. Okay? There are no words to adequately get somebody that's in the mundane mind, and that's not a put down, the transitory mind of divisionary experience. There is no way to intellectually cognize what is being transmitted. Now, there is that experience, and my students can tell you, when they come into your auric field, their mind stills. And that's an actual experience that they have. The mind stills. They have a small inkling of what that is. But anyway, so that's why I'm doing the Tarot channel. It's just something fun to do. It's bringing some modicum of balance to some people, taking them out of some of the fear mode. But like I said, when you get to realization, you think everybody wants to be beyond bondage, but really, in the end, coming out of bondage is just coming to a still mind. Okay? We're always free. You're always free. You have free to make choices. Okay? It's always there, always available. But if you want to come to realization, rather than trying to expand outward, you need to go inward. Okay? You need to keep backing away. That thing and they said, what am I? Well, I don't get that. I say, what is this I? What is this ego formed by? What is this I instead of what am I? Because if you say, what am I, then they want to say, I'm a mom, I'm a sister, I'm a this, I'm a that, and they want to add these things to it, of these obstructions, rather than letting go of all those things and coming to the still point center. Okay? You have to back away out of the mental spin rather than trying to create more and bigger and grander and, in that. So people really want to go the opposite way. They say they want realization, but they want to expand to bigger ego. rather than coming to that 0 point balance. Okay? And so that's why I don't give those. That's why I haven't posted on there for some time. Because most people are not ready for it, are not looking for it. And that's the truth of it. It's the truth of it. Now I can sit out there and be in absolute bliss. Yeah. Easily possible. The consciousness is just fully in that heart center, seeing through that heart center of love and absolute compassion and love, etc. And within that, within whatever expression it is that one is aligning with. Okay? Becoming that. So I think on that note, I'll just leave that here. No sense to go into anything more deep than that. If you're interested in non-duality or the path, you can go to my other site and read it. Guru Swami G, the letter G, my YouTube channel that was there. Okay, it's still up. And I can still give those expansive talks. There are some books, again, if you're interested in Amazon, I would suggest the Song of the Butterfly, Finding the Freedom Within. That's got some things on a lot of different subjects. Okay. Kundalini from Hell to Heaven is good if you are having those expansive, energetic openings. And it's not the usual book on Kundalini. This chakra is this color and that chakra is nothing like that. What they call chakras are levels and layers of experience. Okay? Different levels, layers of consciousness that one has to pass through. I look at these books on Kundalini and things, and it's just, all the same claptrap that they put out what they've heard someone else say, but it doesn't come from this direct experience of having gone through those levels and layers of consciousness to realization. Okay. So here I am at Truth or Consequences. Truth or consequences. Yeah. So anyway, I'll leave that here now. But that's why I have not been posting, why I'm not out there wearing the symbolic garb and out touring, giving satsang, etc. Because I find that Most people are playing at spirituality. Okay, they're playing at it. Spiritual circus. Okay, they're not looking for the depth. Not interested in finding out what is God not. Okay? Not interested. They are only interested in becoming more in control of their lives and becoming something bigger. So on that note, I'll leave that here. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on